Now at 5, the Joplin City Council considers whether to support a study of homelessness in the community. Plus, Joplin will get millions of dollars to help with drainage and sewer improvements.
A case in front of the Supreme Court pits free speech against discrimination laws. I'm Nicole D'Antonio on Capitol Hill with a closer look at what's at stake and what the justices said today.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Joplin City staff wants to better the city's homeless situation by conducting a study of what's working and what isn't. This is KOAM News at 5. I'm Dow Quick. In tonight's meeting, the City Council will be asked to approve a study that would use special use tax funds. Robin Smith from Homeless Coalition says right now homeless people with pets don't have places to go because shelters don't accept animals. Lack of transportation is also an issue.
With the trolley being shut down, it really affects a lot of our homeless folks who get around that way. Disabled people who they don't have a car, they're living in low-income housing. They need the transportation to get to doctor appointments and to go to the grocery store and things like that.
Smith says it's hard to measure the homeless population, as some places people are in places that are not easily accessible, and some change locations. Joplin could get millions of dollars to help with storm and wastewater improvements. The city is eligible to get more than $12.5 million in matching state funds to help improve and update 9 projects. If Joplin matches dollar for dollar, the city would spend more than $25 million for the projects.
So these are significant dollars that are awarded to help us accelerate our planning and our projects that we already have in the works to alleviate stormwater issues across the city. Specific to drainage areas, people that have had problematic flooding, streets, that kind of stuff. So yeah, this is a big deal.
That $12 million plus in matching state funds would come from the American Recovery Plan. Spire Natural Gas Company is expanding some financial assistance programs for Missouri customers. The Payment Partner Program matches payments toward past due amounts for people who qualify. Now, currently, that program is only for customers making up to 200% of the federal poverty level. Beginning later this month, that should be available for customers making up to 300% of the poverty level. Spire's Critical Medical Needs Program will assist customers experiencing a medical emergency and suspend potential disconnection of their services for up to 30 days. Spire will provide financial support for this assistance network along with other utilities in partnership with United Way. The program requires certification from a healthcare provider or caseworker and is targeted to launch in March of next year. Let's check in with Doug Heddy for a first look at the weather.
Well, it's been kind of a crummy day outside for us today. We've had the clouds outside. We've had the on and off drizzle across the region, which we are still seeing right now. Most of us are sitting upper 40s to near 50 degrees. We're going to kind of hold steady as we go through the next several hours, but also watch out for the fog. We've had patchy fog last night through the morning hours. This is going to build back in as we go through the evening hours, and you can see visibilities are definitely lower, especially in southeastern Kansas, pushing into southwestern parts of Missouri. So that's something we got to keep our eyes on. A lot of clouds, a little bit of drizzle, random shower for us tonight as this weak wave passes right on by, and you can see the drizzle and very light showers kind of sticking around throughout the evening hours into the morning hours for us tomorrow. We have plenty of chances for rain this week. We're going to look at that here in just a bit.
See you soon. The Supreme Court heard arguments in another class between LGBTQ and business owners' rights. Today's case involves a Colorado website designer who says creating pages for same-sex weddings conflicts with her religious beliefs. As Nicole D'Antonio reports, the case is reminiscent of a narrow 2018 ruling in favor of a Colorado baker, where the court simultaneously acknowledged it was kicking the can down the road.
The Supreme Court took up another case pitting free speech against gay rights. At issue, whether artists and designers can be forced to state things at odds with their personal beliefs.
The state forces Ms. Smith to create speech, not simply sell it.
Colorado state law bars businesses from discriminating based on race, gender, sexual orientation, religion, and other grounds.
The company just cannot refuse to serve gay couples, as it seeks to do here, just as the Christmas store cannot announce "No Jews Allowed."
The case is a preemptive strike from Colorado graphic designer Lori Smith, who hasn't yet launched a wedding website business.
I know that the freedom I'm standing for is not just for me.
Her attorney argued that Smith is an artist and, unlike other vendors, is protected by free speech.
The person providing the chairs isn't providing speech.
Several justices engaged in hypotheticals.
How about people who don't believe in interracial marriage? Or about people who don't believe that disabled people should get married?
Suppose someone offers the service of writing customized wedding vows. Can they be forced to write vows or speeches that espouse things they loathe?
The now conservative majority court has been receptive to claims of religious freedom, but the panel in 2018 made a plea for civility that future cases like these would have to be resolved with tolerance on both sides. That warning came with a narrow ruling in favor of a Colorado baker who refused to make wedding cakes for same-sex couples.
Because the biblical teaching on faith, on marriage, is pretty clear.
The justices in that case refrained from deciding on the larger First Amendment issue. Nicole D'Antonio, CBS News, Washington.
This case comes as Congress nears passage of landmark bipartisan legislation that would protect federal recognition of same-sex marriage. Election Day in Georgia is tomorrow for a U.S. Senate runoff with major implications for our country. Polls show Republican Herschel Walker and Democratic Senator Raphael Warnock locked in a tight race. More than 1.8 million people have already cast their ballots. Friday was the biggest early voting day in Georgia's history. Former President Donald Trump suggested over the weekend that parts of the Constitution should be terminated and have a redo of the 2020 presidential election. The social media post drew swift condemnation from Democrats and some Republicans, but many others in the president's party are taking more of a wait-and-see approach. Still ahead, battling a surge.
Respiratory illnesses are surging in the U.S. I'm Naomi Ruckham with what you can do to try and keep your family safe.
Plus, a new study on safe sleeping surfaces for babies. Those stories next in Health Watch. Topping today's Health Watch, hospitalizations for flu and COVID-19 are increasing. Health officials are reiterating how important vaccination is to keep people from getting severely sick. Naomi Ruckham has more.
It's been a brutal week for the Cow family of Irvine, California. Dad Brendan and kids Emma and Henry all came down with a nasty virus.
It's been hectic. A lot of that has fallen to the shoulders of my wife. Myself and Henry spent about 2 days just in bed.
This year's respiratory virus season has seen a perfect storm of RSV, flu, and COVID-19 all circulating. For the flu so far, about 8.7 million people have been ill, 78,000 hospitalized, and 4,500 have died from the flu, including 14 children.
Hospitalizations for flu continue to be the highest we have seen at this time of year in a decade.
While there are signs RSV is peaking in some parts of the country, COVID-19 hospitalizations are increasing. Health officials say vaccination is the best defense against flu and COVID-19, and it's not too late to get your shots.
Both vaccines, very important in making it less likely to get it, and even more important, making it less likely that we'll get very sick if we do get the virus.
The surge in respiratory illnesses has sparked a rush on fever-reducing medications like acetaminophen and ibuprofen. The Cows visited multiple stores and found these empty shelves. So you were really rationing what you had.
We were rationing and deciding that the younger child who doesn't take ibuprofen very well, that we had to save the acetaminophen for him.
The family eventually found medications online, is now on the mend, and hoping to stay well the rest of the holiday season. Naomi Ruckham, CBS News, New York.
On their website, Tylenol says while some products may be less readily available, we are not experiencing an overall shortage of children's Tylenol. A new study in the journal Pediatrics confirms the use of non-approved sleep surfaces and soft bedding does increase the chance of suffocation among infants, but not unexplained infant deaths. The American Academy of Pediatrics recommends babies should sleep alone on their backs on a non-inclined surface without soft pillows, toys, or bedding for their safety. More young people are ditching booze for marijuana. That's according to a new study in the journal Clinical Toxicology. Over the last 20 years, cannabis abuse increased 245% among children 6 to 18 years old, while alcohol abuse steadily declined. Researchers link the change to the rising popularity of edible cannabis. And if you're looking for motivation to get up and get moving, well, look for a challenge. A University of Cambridge study found about 80% of walkers prefer more challenging routes, incorporating high steps and other obstacles over those more conventional sidewalks. Researchers say the more challenging route can be a stepping stone to improved cardiovascular health. And that is a look at today's health news. A little bit later, home sales.
The red-hot real estate market is cooling down. I'm Cristian Benavides with a look at why home sales are sinking.
Plus, we have plenty of chances for rain this week. We're going to look at that coming up. Definitely turned out to be a dreary one for us today. We've had the clouds, the fog, the light drizzle sticking around all day long, and this is going to stick as we head through the evening into the overnight hours for us. Tonight, temperatures could be worse. Most of us upper 40s to lower 50s. A little bit cooler once you get into our northern counties, mainly sitting into the upper 40s, and then we do get into the lower 50s once you get a little bit farther south. But all of our temperatures around the region. Outside, 7th and range line, it's dreary, it's wet, a little foggy. Be careful if you are going to be out tonight. Currently sitting at 51. Easterly winds are light. Humidity, of course, is up there at 92%. Also, we got the fog, which has been building in southeastern Kansas, parts of northeastern Oklahoma, southwest Missouri. So we are going to have the patchy, thick fog at times tonight. So be careful if you are going to be out because the fog is going to stick around most of the night as well. Through the evening hours, we hold fairly steady. We slide back lower 50s, upper 40s, light drizzle. Most of the night could get a quick little shower, but most of this is light drizzle. And look at all the cloud cover right on top of us. Just those very low clouds. The ceiling's only about 700 to 800 feet, but there's not much underneath it. We do have the drizzle. It's just so light, it doesn't really get picked up on the radar. If we head out toward the west, our next little wave, which will give us more widespread rain, a little bit heavier rain, is out across the Pacific Northwest, and that will start to affect us late Wednesday and then heading into Thursday with better chances for widespread rain. So tonight, it's these little hit and miss showers and then periods of drizzle and fog, sitting mainly mid to upper 40s. This is going to last into the morning hours, so we're going to wake up tomorrow with what you see outside right now, clouds and drizzle. Drizzle kind of sticking around through the morning hours, but it looks like by the afternoon it kind of exits. Temperatures kind of hovering near 50 into the lower 50s once we get into the afternoon. Clouds stick around tomorrow night. We drop back upper 30s to near 40, so we're looking at Wednesday morning, and you can see showers trying to spread in late Wednesday morning into the afternoon. So we'll have periods of light showers, but most of the rain is going to stay to our south on Wednesday, and then our bigger band really starts to press in Wednesday night, heading into Thursday, and this will give us our heaviest amounts of rain that we should see as we go through the week. All right, day planner, 50 in the morning, 53 by noon. I think our high about 55. We'll back down into the upper 40s by 5 p.m. Our drizzle tonight kind of spikes up a little bit in the morning, but our rain chances increase a little bit more once we get into Wednesday. And again, that's going to be the widespread rain, and that's where we're going to get most of our rain this week. So very light tonight, light tomorrow, but look at this. Once we go all the way through Thursday, our northern counties get the least amounts, but some areas may pick up 1 or 2 inches of rain, which we need it still as we have the drought conditions across the region. 55 tomorrow, 57. Rain increasing on Wednesday, 62 periods of rain, especially in the morning on Thursday. We do get a couple days of partly sunny skies, Friday and Saturday. Rain right back in Sunday and Monday of next week.
Bring on the rain. As you say, we do need it.
We do need it.
Thanks, Doug. The lava flowing from Hawaii's Mauna Loa, which is the world's largest active volcano, is edging closer and closer to the Big Island's main highway. This is video from last night as the main front of the lava flow is just a few miles from the Daniel Kainoe Highway, also known as Saddle Road. Could possibly reach it in a week. But the U.S. Geological Survey also said because of the unpredictable nature of lava flows, it's difficult to estimate when or if the flow will impact the highway, which is that island's main east-west road. Coming up, the pace of the housing market. First, though, we honor a local World War II veteran. The Golden City, Missouri native James Vinson served in the U.S. Army, stationed in the South Pacific. He received 3 Bronze Stars. Private First Class James Vinson, a 4-state hero. Topping today's Consumer Watch, disgraced former FTX CEO Sam Bankman-Fried is suggesting he'll be testifying before the House Financial Services Committee. In a tweet, Bankman-Fried indicated he'll do so after he's finished learning and reviewing the events that led to the collapse of his cryptocurrency exchange. The House committee is expected to hold a hearing next week. Housing hit a peak during the pandemic and sellers saw their home prices soar, but now the market's dropping because of high interest rates. Christian Benavides reports.
Patrick Kennedy recently moved into a new home, and it's a long time coming. He started looking at houses a year ago when the market was red hot.
Compare and contrast what it was like looking for a place a year ago.
Everything that's nice and that's attractive to the majority of buyers, you would see them on the market and gone, under contract a day later.
Kennedy's realtor, David Gunther, says things have changed since then.
The interest rates maybe are pulling buyers back a little bit, but it's also afforded a buyer who is strong with their financing. They could approach a property. They're not competing with the rest of the world.
Mortgage rates are now just under 6.5%, which is down from 7% last month, but more than double from 1 year ago.
There's not as many buyers. These higher interest rates are having buyers sit on the sidelines saying, we'll wait and see.
Realtor Melanie Heyer worked with would-be buyer Celia Polhemus. She wants a new home, but the thought of a high payment has her waiting. At the current rate, a monthly mortgage payment on a $400,000 loan would cost about $800 more than a year ago.
We are just waiting, we're waiting to see what happens with this market.
Kennedy got his loan when interest rates were at a peak, but his plan is to eventually refinance.
So you're betting that interest rates will eventually come down?
Yes, correct. I think realistically, hopefully within the next 12 to 24 months, high 4s, low 5s.
But experts forecast mortgage rates could actually climb again in the coming months, then slowly tick down during the second half of the year. Christian Benavides, CBS News, Miami.
A final check of the forecast next. The CBS Evening News is coming up next. Then on KOAM News at 6, we're going to hear from some of the people who helped the homeless in Joplin as the City Council considers funding a study on the issue. Plus, a Missouri city is named the most dangerous in the nation. And Webb City coach John Roderick announces his resignation, his retirement. Stay with us. CBS Evening News and then KOAM News at 6. From a distance, they look kind of like autumn foliage. Millions of endangered monarch butterflies blanketing trees. Every year, migratory monarchs travel up to 2,000 miles from the eastern U.S. and Canada to spend the winter among the forests of central and western Mexico. It's quite a sight. A lot of visitors go down just to see this. Experts say the migratory monarch population has fallen between 22% and 77% over the past decade. Scientists blame climate change, pesticides, and illegal logging for the population decline. They have now been considered endangered monarch butterflies. Much a lot more there used to be a lot more of them than there are now.
Yeah, I guess so.
The weather, chances of rain this week.
Yeah, we are going to stick around with the drizzle and maybe a random light shower for us tonight into tomorrow morning, but more persistent, heavier rain will start to work in, especially the second half of the day on Wednesday night into Thursday, a brief break, and then more rain by Sunday and Monday of next week.
Thanks for joining us. The CBS Evening News is next. And of course, we're going to be right back here for KOAM News at 6. We'll see you then. Let's make it a great evening.